Good day guys, Andre here, and this is your official voiceover video available to you on my YouTube channel, and I hope that you would share the channel, I hope that you would like the channel, and most importantly subscribe so that others can see and benefit. So let's get into it. What I'm doing right now is I am working on the highlights on one of my latest art pieces. This art piece is, well, for those who can't guess, it's a breastfeeding baby. And well, I'll take the time now to mention that there is a huge movement that women should be able to breastfeed in public. So I just thought that it would be fit to do a piece like this at this time. It really stood out to me. So as you can see, I use a number of tools. I use brushes, I use blending stumps, I use kneadable erasers, sometimes I use my finger. But what I'm really trying to do is pull some of the graphite or the charcoal, because this is a predominantly charcoal piece, is pull some of the charcoal off the paper to really give that white look, that highlighted look. And what that does is it adds depth to the overall drawing. So you realize that I would be spreading charcoal in some areas and then pulling charcoal in other areas. And in between you'd see me using the mechanical pencil and the blending stump really to just get those finer details in. Now another technique that I use when I'm trying to get my highlights is I use the white charcoal pencil. Now there's a bit of confusion there sometimes that I have when I try to get white with the white charcoal, because it has a tendency to leave a bluish hue. I'm not too sure why. I think sometimes it really is when it's applied too heavily onto the charcoal, or maybe it's because I do more or less, I mix my media, so I would be using graphite and charcoal, so maybe the white charcoal doesn't mix well with the graphite. I'll figure it out. If any of you ever encounter that problem, please comment and let me know what worked out for you. So the paint brushes that I'm using, I use the makeup brushes. I buy professional grade makeup brushes and I find they have done wonders for me. They really help me to push the material, to push the graphite or the charcoal into the paper, and yeah, it works wonders for me. Now for those of you that has been having problems achieving smooth skin on the textured paper, I know some artists prefer smooth paper when they're working with subjects such as babies and so on. Well, what I find is when I use the brushes, the blush type brushes in particular, those big wide brushes, I'll try to put a link or name them. In fact, I could give the name now. I use basically powder brushes, big ones, those really soft ones, and I pass it over the entire art piece, and what that does is it quickly fills the grain. Now you have to be careful with that, because when you do that, it's really hard for you to come now and add anything else to it. But what it does is it fills the grain without deepening the color or removing too much of the tones. So yeah, I just lightly pass it over the art piece and it works out well for me. So you're seeing that I'm adding the highlights to the ears at this point. You have to learn to trust yourself as an artist. And as well as what has worked for me is not paying too much attention to the reference photo. Sometimes we look at the reference photo and we try to replicate it so much that we don't try to understand it, and it is in understanding the photo that we can make adjustments and changes to our own art piece that would then come back around to best represent the photo. So for example, I chose my light source to be the top right side of the art piece, and the entire theme of the art piece really is to show that is where the light source is coming from. Now I may do that and go against the reference photo. The reference photo may have a light source from a different direction, but I guess that is the perks of all the years of experience in this, that you get to make adjustments and you get to make modifications. You don't have to stick to the rules, you know. So you see here I'm using my finger a bit. Well, I don't advise persons to use their finger, but it works for me because the fingers especially on fine textured paper, it can leave prints. And well, I'll come up with another video showing how to remove smudges from textured paper or any type of paper when you're doing art piece, because some people think that if the paper has too many smudges, it's unusable. It actually isn't. There's a technique I use with the kneadable eraser. For example, right now on the forehead you can see a dark dot on the forehead of the child. That's actually a smudge, and before the art piece is done, I'll be removing that smudge. So when you see the final version, that smudge won't be there. Anyways guys, I gotta go. It was nice doing this. See you next time.